Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today you join me unfortunately on a pretty dark and gloomy overcast day. However, today's information from the 2025 LA Auto Show, as well as with the Palisade sitting behind me, is at least fairly interesting, especially because we now know more information regarding the all-new upcoming 2027 Kia Telluride, which is of course the sister vehicle to the Palisade that's sitting behind me. Now, what's interesting about the Telluride, and I will be covering this in additional content moving forward, is that we now know it will not be using a 6-cylinder engine underneath the hood, but it has your choice of 2 different turbocharged 4-cylinder options, which is unlike the Palisade, which of course I've covered here on the channel throughout the last several months. So make sure to subscribe, stay tuned for more information comparing the Palisade and the Telluride, and Telluride coverage in more detail. But anyways, in today's video, we're going to take a quick walk around tour of the entry-level base trim level for the Palisade lineup, the standard SE, which of course is one that comes standard with cloth interior as well as the 8-passenger configuration or the bench second row seats. So without further ado, let's not waste more time. Take a look at what the entry-level Palisade has to offer for just over $44,000. So the Palisade in front of me is finished in the Ecotronic gray exterior with the gray cloth interior. Yes, that's right, the SEs will come with a cloth interior, which I have to admit is a little bit of an interesting feeling, given that so many vehicles I do videos with have moved to synthetic materials on their entry or mid-trim levels, and then genuine leathers on the higher end of things, especially in this segment of SUV, but this is the only Palisade that comes with a cloth interior. Now, in terms of exterior appearance, it's going to be very similar to that of all the other Palisades that I've done videos on. However, there are going to be a few features, options, and amenities missing on this one due to its more affordable price tag. Now, starting at the front end, it will have full LED lighting, which is a great thing to see, with LED projector low and high beams illuminated right there. Your daytime running lights and turn signals in this vertical portion, with the running light strip that connects the 2 headlights together when the headlights are illuminated in the middle, as you can see there. Now, just below that, you'll find the same dark gunmetal gray or silver accent trim at the very bottom of the front fascia. Front and rear parking sensors are standard on every Palisade with the active aero shutters just below the license plate. Of course, no 360 cameras or anything like that, but I really do like the new grille design that Hyundai has made standard on every Palisade with the bright silver Hyundai logo just above that on the front bumper. Now, coming around to the side profile of the Palisade, you will find the standard matte black plastic cladding or trim on the wheel arches, as well as the lower door sections that integrate the side markers and lights that are illuminated. Coming to the wheel design, this is going to be the same exact 18-inch alloy wheel from the SE all the way up to the SEL Premium, so that is a difference from that of the previous generation Palisade. It is machined with a gunmetal gray finish that matches the Ecotronic gray really, really well. It is going to be wrapped in a 235/65 18-inch Nexen and Ferro Supreme S all-season tire. Coming up to the mirror caps, they are going to be body color with gloss black trim. No lighting whatsoever, but they are going to be heated and do have blind spot detection as standard, which is a very nice standard feature to have. Manual folding design, and then coming to the door handles, standard proximity entry on the 2 front. No digital key, obviously, given that this is the entry-level trim. And there you can see on the side profile, it does still have the tinted rear windows. However, you will not find any sort of roof rack accessories on the roof. So if you want to mount anything like that, you'll have to get an SEL or higher within the Palisade lineup. We can see you still have the bright silver trim across the windows and part of the roof there, which gives it a little bit more of a premium look and aesthetic versus that of some other vehicles in the segment. Now, coming out to the rear of the Palisade, you will once again find full LED lighting out back with your taillights and running lights that are illuminated. Turn signals in the middle portion, they are amber in nature, and then the LED reverse lights on the lower of the rear bumper, along with your rear parking sensors, more of that silver or gray plastic trim. You have Palisade spelled out on the tailgate with the gloss black around the license plate. Rear backup camera with the integrated washer nozzle, and then your wiper is located just below the third brake light, and you still get the nice premium third brake light across every Palisade, which is a really nice standard feature that they've upgraded versus that of the previous generation, as I mentioned in some of my videos. So that is basically going to be a look at the exterior appearance of the entry-level Palisade. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, especially about the alloy wheel designs and choices they've gone with. Given this is, the entry-level model, I expected to have the entry-level wheel, but the fact that this is the same wheel that you find all the way up to the SCL Premium is a little bit of an interesting choice. But let's go and take a quick look at the window sticker so you guys know exactly how this one is equipped before jumping onto the inside. So take a look at the window sticker. As you can see, the feature list is much shorter than that of the fully loaded calligraphy because it is missing several features that you can get on the higher trim levels of this vehicle. Now, with that being said, it still comes very well equipped with the standard driver assist and safety technologies, including smart cruise control, lane keeping assist with lane follow assist, highway drive assist 1, and the list goes on. It has the 3.5-liter naturally aspirated V6 and optional H-Track all-wheel drive, 18-inch alloy wheels, the LED lighting on the exterior, 3-zone automatic climate control, Wi-Fi hotspot, and Blue Link Plus, which is free for the lifetime of the first owner. Now, this one does have a few additional accessories, which brings the total MSRP, including destination, to $43,620. So take a look on the interior. As I mentioned, this one has the gray two-tone cloth interior. However, there is going to be a black option available as well. Starting out here on the door panel, you're going to find the same overall design and some of the materials as that of the mid-grades that I've featured so far. So up top, this is going to be the lighter gray accent with the synthetic or rubberized plastic accent stitching. And then you have a little bit of a softer padded armrest right here with your power windows, mirrors, and locks, with the two front windows being fully automatic up-down. You have the silver accent door handle pull, a good amount of lower door storage, and the standard 6-speaker audio system. Now, coming to the seats, this is the most interesting aspect to me, and that's because it is a manual driver seat with 6-way adjustment, so it does have height adjustment, no lumbar adjustment, and it's finished in the medium gray cloth, which is the first time that I've actually seen this on this new next generation. It does have some styling or design here in the middle section and matches the headrest quite well. It is a little bit on the firmer side, so it's a little bit on the firmer, scratchier side, not as soft as maybe the previous generation Palisade and especially the Santa Fe vehicles, but I would say it's passable for an entry-level seat. And then coming to the dashboard, you can see more of that two-tone color comes into play with the nice synthetic wrapped steering wheel. So here in the interior of the Palisade SE, obviously the styling and design language is going to follow through from that of the rest of the Palisade lineup, but immediately you can tell there are some features and buttons missing that you'll find on those higher trims. Now, in front of the driver, you're going to find the 12.3-inch fully digital but partially configurable gauge cluster that is paired to the 12.3-inch CCNC navigation system, which we'll touch on in just a few minutes. Now, this is controlled here on the left side of the steering wheel, and you'll find the fixed in place digital speedometer and tachometer on the left and right respectively, with a 4.2-inch color display in the middle, which is what these buttons actually control. So you can see the driver assistance page is pulled up right here. You have your fuel range, gear selection, the speed sign recognition, odometer, and outside ambient temperature. I'm not sure what this 4A in the bottom actually means. I've not been able to distinguish what that's in regards to, but cycling through some of the different pages here, you have the power distribution if you have an all-wheel drive, as well as your tire pressure monitor. And then one more time, you have your trip information with all the fuel economy, fuel information, mileage, and things like that as you'd expect. And then lastly, you have your compass with your navigation that can be put the turn right turn directions in here if you have them actually programmed into it. Now, on top of the steering column, you still have the driver attention monitor. So this monitors your face and eyes to make sure you're paying attention in relation to some of the driver assistance technology. And coming back even further, you have the synthetic leather wrapped steering wheel that is unfortunately not heated, but does feature a nice feel in the actual hand. And then you have some of that silver trim like the rest of the Palisades. On the left side, you have Smart Cruise Control 1, lane follow assist, and some of your cruise control. On the right, you have the audio multimedia. On the back side, you have the paddle shifters for the 8-speed automatic transmission. And you still do find the push button start with shift by wire located on the column, which does have haptic feedback when you go into reverse to notify you that you are changing gears into that position. Automatic headlights with auto high beam assist as standard, regular power intermittent wipers. To the left of the steering wheel, you have your gauge dimming, auto stop start on off, tow haul mode, electronic parking brake, and traction control off, manual tilt telescopic steering column. There's the medium gray dashboard across the dash, obviously. And then coming over here to the infotainment system, this is the 12.3-inch CCNC navigation, which means it does feature built-in navigation, wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Sirius XM, AM, FM, USB, Bluetooth inputs. I do have a dedicated video coming on this infotainment, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But it is going to be missing a few settings and features just because this vehicle does not have them. Obviously, doesn't have the dash cameras and things like that, but also doesn't have the more advanced digital cluster. Below that, we have the automatic vehicle hold, drive, and terrain mode select. So this vehicle does have terrain and drive modes if you select an all-wheel drive equipped Palisade, which you can see changes the color of the cluster right there. Physical hard touch buttons for the audio and multimedia. And then you do have the dual tri-zone automatic climate control. So you have 2 in the front, 1 in the rear. Obviously no heated or ventilated seats. And then you find the hill descent control, parking sensors on and off, and the rear backup camera over there, which pulls up on the main screen, as you can see. Still have the broken center console with your USB-C charge and data ports up to 100 watts combined between all 3 rows. Additional storage and a 12-volt outlet right there. No wireless charging, but you do have the nice brown or grayish brown trim in the middle. And there's the standard proximity entry with the remote start built into the actual key fob. Here you have the soft touch light gray armrest. It is the single piece design. Inside you'll find a little LED light and additional storage, and that is about it. Coming up top, you do still have these soft touch pillars, which I really appreciate Hyundai adding for this vehicle. And you find the LED vanity illumination with your mirror, manual dimming interior rearview mirror, and then BlueLink SOS overhead LED lighting, and then no sunroof obviously in this trim level because it is the entry level offering. But that's gonna be a look here at the front seat. Let's go ahead and take a look out back. So take a look at the second and third rows of this vehicle. Again, you'll find some interesting seating configurations because this vehicle comes standard with the 8-passenger setup. Now in terms of the door panel, as you can see, you do have the two-tone soft touch and plastics going on with the dark gray in the middle, soft touch upper, soft touch armrest with additional cup holder storage and bottle storage down below. Still have the safe exit assist, which will lock the door and illuminate right here to if a car or oncoming vehicle is enabled and picked up by the sensors. And there you can see the manual second row bench seat, which is the first time I've actually laid eyes on it, which does feature the power easy access to the third row via the button right there or up top, and does have the manual recline. A lot of the patterns and things do follow through from the front. And stepping inside is going to be very easy, has a little bit of a stage seating effect. There's going to be a quick look at the front dashboard. In terms of rear seat amenities, we have USB-C charging on the seats, no power outlet, but we do have the drawer down below. Mat pockets on both of the 2 front seats, grab handles, overhead AC vents with the diffuse function, and then your third zone automatic climate control, no heated seats or anything like that up on the headliner. Now the bench does feature an armrest with 2 additional cup holders and the ratcheting function in the middle, so you can hear it kind of clicking into place. It will allow you to ratchet it into your preferred position, so you can kind of adjust it with the seat back recline, which is a very handy feature that comes standard on every Palisade. And overall, you can see the bench definitely adds a different sort of look and dynamic to the interior cabin and allows you to easily fit 3 people across the middle here. So if you need that for any particular people hauling or cargo capacity, then you can choose to get the bench on SE standard, optional on SEL and SEL Premium 8 seating as well. Now taking a look at the third row, obviously you can see the bench slides out of the way and gains access to the third row, which uses all the same cloth and materials as that of the front. Now stepping inside, it's actually pretty easy with the grab handle and the ergonomics of the seat. There you can see a much larger seat in front of you. And back here you have USB-C charging, cup holders, maybe speakers, and a hard touch plastic armrest with those large side windows. Now take a look at cargo capacity behind the second and third rows. Immediately you're gonna find the electronic release but manual liftgate on the SE, so you do not get a power liftgate. If that's something you're looking for, you have to step up to at least an SEL or higher. Now with the third row seats folded up in their upright position, you can see you do have still a good amount of third row space or cargo capacity behind the seat. Obviously you don't get the sliding function that you'll find on the limited or calligraphies that I have demonstrated. On the left side you have the power release for the second row only, so you have to manually fold down the third row with the lever right there, which you kind of have to pull and push with the other hand, and easily goes down into place. You also have a 12-volt power outlet. On the right side you have nothing, and then underneath the floor you still find additional storage space with the storage for the cargo cover or the privacy shade. If you want to store beneath here, you have additional accessories, the roadside toolkit, and then your spare tire will be located underneath the vehicle, which is something you'll have to lower down if you need to use it in case of a roadside emergency there. But overall, same amount of space, just a manual tailgate design and seats versus that of some of the higher trims. Now wrapping this video up here on the passenger front seat, you will find a 6-way manual passenger seat, which means it does have height adjustment. However, no lumbar or anything like that. There's a look at those cloth seats once again. Taking a look at the dashboard, really nice two-tone effect. And of course, as with every Palisade, unfortunately you cannot fit your owner's literature or manual inside due to the provisions for the dash cam, but it does feature an LED light in the glove box as standard, additional storage space at the top there. And overall, that is going to be a look here at the entry-level trim for the Palisade. Let's go ahead and pop the lid so it powers this particular vehicle before wrapping this video up. So under the hood of the Palisade SE, you're going to find one single powertrain. That is the 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. This engine puts out 287 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque through your choice of front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And as I just mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is substantially different from that of the entry-level standard powertrain on the 2027 Kia Telluride, given that vehicle uses a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, which is offered within the Palisade and other vehicles within Hyundai Kia Motor Group. However, that is one of the big differentiating factors between either of these vehicles. So if you want a V6 engine, that comes standard on every Palisade with the optional turbo hybrid on higher trim levels, where that is not the case for the standard entry-level trim of the Kia Telluride. So let's go do it here for this quick walk around tour of the 2026 Hyundai Palisade SE. If you guys enjoyed this video and or found it helpful, make sure to hit that like button below, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to stay tuned to check out additional Palisade and upcoming 2027 Kia Telluride videos as the content is put out and the information is released. Anyways, my thoughts on the entry-level Palisade is, you know, for the low $40,000 price point as seen here, I think it's okay. Obviously, I don't think this is going to be a volume seller within the Hyundai or Kia side of things, and I don't think they plan on this being a value model. Obviously, it offers value, but not necessarily volume, so they might be a little bit harder to find on dealership lots. If you want 8-passenger seating, I would highly encourage you to check out at least an SCL or a premium package with more standard equipment and features for the mid, upper, or right around that $50,000 price point, depending on which trim you're looking at. But overall, I think the entire Palisade lineup is going to be a value play for sure. It's just a matter of which options and features are a must, and ultimately which trim level fits those needs best. Now, like I said, I do have thoughts and opinions on the standard turbocharged 4-cylinder in the Telluride versus the standard V6 in this Palisade. That will be discussed in some upcoming content, but overall, hopefully this video helps you out. If you happen to be searching for an entry-level Palisade, if you're looking for more features, check out some of the other content I've done. And overall, I appreciate continued support here on the channel and hope to see you guys in the next one.